Wanderers, the Infernal Hordes is one of the best farms in the game this season. You combine that with your Legion events, and this is going to be the ultimate farming strategy. Now, how do you get the most out of each of your Infernal Horde runs? How do you average about 1,500 Aether per run, whether you're solo or with a group? We're going to cover all of the best choices, why you're going to take them, when to take them, and how your runs will look after you employ all of these really great strategies. This is going to be the ultimate Infernal Horde guide, and I'm very excited to get you the most out of every single run that you possibly can. So where do we start? We're going to begin with a basic overview of what the Infernal Hordes are. So if you are an experienced player and you already know what the Infernal Hordes are, how you open them, where the best places to farm keys are, you can use the timestamps to skip ahead. What the Infernal Hordes is, it's a wave-based dungeon. You're going to have either 6, 8, or 10 waves. Each of those waves will start with what is called a Boon or a Bane, and we'll go over that once we get into your choices and what a Boon and a Bane is. One will benefit you, one will either make the run a little bit harder or make the monsters a little bit stronger. So one is benefit, one is detrimental. So as you progress through these waves, you're going to be collecting something called Aether. That Aether is a currency that drops. You'll use that at the very end of the dungeon to gain rewards such as material, equipment, chaos armor in the current season that we're in right now. So this is a really great way to get basically almost everything that you need. Now, there are a couple things that will not really be the best place to get inside of the Infernal Hordes. However, almost everything will come from this dungeon. So like all of the dungeons in the endgame, you will need a key. Now, the keys are called the Infernal Horde Compasses. There's going to be 3 different ones. You're going to have your blue, which says magic. You're going to have your yellow, which says rare. And then you're going to have your legendary one, which will be orange. Now, there is no better gear that drops from any of these. A legendary one will have the exact same loot pool as the magic one. It's just a way for you to easily identify a 10 wave, an 8 wave, and a 6 wave. This is how you're going to determine very easily without having to mouse over each of them to just see, okay, I'm going to run a 6 wave right now, so I'm going to pop that open because I'm going to go right to the blue one. So where do these come from? Now, there's a lot of different places that you can go. Escalating nightmare dungeons. Now, at the very end of this is a 3-wave nightmare dungeon. As you do each one, they get a little bit harder. When you get to the end, you're going to fight a boss. That boss is going to be called Astaroth. So this is the fight right here. Now, Astaroth has 2 phases. After the first phase and the second phase is done, he actually drops a ton of Infernal Horde Compasses. So this actually could be a really great option for you if Infernal Horde Compasses are for you and you're looking for something that you can do nice and quick, that'd be nice and fast. Now, if you look here, we're going to see a whole bunch of Infernal Horde Compasses drop. We got 4 different Infernal Horde Compasses. This is a really great place to go if you're running short on some of these compasses here. The next place is going to be your seasonal reputation board. Once you've completed the board and you've gotten all of the rep, you can actually come back here and we will continuously earn reputation and level up this board. And every time you level it up, you're going to get more of these caches. These caches will give you guaranteed Infernal Horde Compasses, and they'll also give you guaranteed chaos items. So if we drop one of these here, we get an Infernal Horde Compass, and we're going to get our chaos items. So this is a really great way to do it. As you earn your Infernal Warp, you can come over to the vendor right here, and you can actually turn in your Infernal Warp for these scrolls. You can use the scrolls to get reputation to purchase more of these caches. Now, the final way is going to be Whisper Caches. After you have completed 10 Grim Favors and you come over, you have a chance to get a Dungeon Key cache. Now, the Dungeon Key cache will have 3 Infernal Horde Compasses guaranteed. So those are going to be the best ways to farm. Now, they will drop from Helltides. They will drop from the pits. You will be able to find them everywhere, but those are going to be your best methods to get easy Infernal Horde keys so you can continue to do all of your Infernal Horde runs for all the materials you need. So now let's head over to our handy spreadsheet. This sheet will be in the description of the video. So this is it right here. This is a write-up that I did. This is the testing that we got from the PTR, and then we updated it on the live server once we hit, because there were a couple changes that were made. So what is a Boon and a Bane? If you look right here, we'll zoom this in just a little bit. You're going to have 2 different choices at the very start of each round. You will have something that will be detrimental to you, and then something that will be good for you. This will be your Bane. This one will be your Boon. So down on the bottom here, we have listed every single one of all of the options that you will have, with the Bane on top and the Boon below it. So what we're looking at is the best choices and the best paths to take. So how do you pick your Boons and your Banes? When you open up one of these keys, it's going to open it up on the map. When you bring up your map, it'll automatically bring up the dungeon for you. You can just teleport right there. Once you teleport there, you'll be faced with your choices. You get to choose right away before the round even starts. You used to have only the choice after the round and after you killed monsters and the first round ended. Now you're going to go and you're going to kill just a couple of monsters here, and then you'll be able to pick your first choices of Boons and Banes. Now each one of these is going to pop up. Now we have 3 different choices, and you can pick each of the hands, and as you hover over them or you just stand next to them, depending on if you're on a controller or mouse and keyboard, this will show you what you're going to be getting. So now we have Colossal Fiends, we have Hungry Soul Spires, and we have your masses. So if we came over to the tier list here that we put together for this, we're going to see that Colossal Fiends here, which is one of the options that we have here, let me move away from this here so you can see it, is going to be at one of the top choices here. Now, Teeming Masses here, this one is actually going to be in a pretty decent choice. And then if we come down to the Soul Spire ones, Soul Spires, don't get me wrong, any of these paths that you take will be good. They'll get you some ether, but there will be some that will be better than others. So if we were to go ahead and choose this right here, the Colossal Fiends, this will take your Ether Lords. They will cause hellfire around them. Any of the Ether Fiends will now spawn as Ether Lords, and they're going to drop 3 times the Ether. Now, that is a multiplicative number, which is really good because you can buff these Ether Lords. Ether Lords is definitely going to be one of your best choices, and we'll get to why in just a couple minutes. The only warning that I'm going to have for this is you have to make sure that you have a build that can do a lot of damage. The Ether Lords are mini bosses. So if you don't have a build that can do lots of damage really, really quickly to a whole bunch of targets, this might not be the choice, and you might want to go with masses. So for any of these top ones down here, any of these S up here, you want to make sure that you have a build that is fast, a build that will do a lot of AoE damage, but also will hit very hard so you can kill all of these lords very, very quickly. So as you go ahead and you pick your Boons and your Banes, they're going to slowly stack. So now if we were to pick one of these here, you can open up your map now, and now you can see that you have picked Banes, and then you have picked Boons. So this is how you're going to determine and how you can see what you've previously picked so you can decide what your next one is going to be. So this right here is one of the Ether Lords here. So you have to make sure that you have a build that can kill them in basically one shot. All of these little ones here, these are your Ether Fiends. So these are going to be your choices that you can make as you go through. You just have to make sure, and you'll get to test it out. If you do a run, make sure you do a 6-wave so that you can make sure that you have enough damage that you can kill things very quickly and things will die nice and fast. Each wave is going to last 1 minute long, as you can see, and it shows a little timer. It's going to show how many monsters you have to slay in order to bring out the next Lord. Now, after we've completed that first wave, it's going to show you here that we are on wave 1 of 6, and then we get 3 new options. These will start to stack, and then you can start to pick the direction that you want to go in. So we have now completed 2 rounds. We have another Ether Lord. So you saw that the Ether Lords are going to drop 3 times the multiplier. If we come back over here, they're going to drop 3 times the Ether. They're already dropping Ether, and now we're going to add +5 to all of that Ether. 3 times 5 is 15, so we have now stacking a ton of Ether Lords. Now, we talked about having a fast build. If you want a really great build on the Barbarian, the one that I showed you earlier where we were killing the Ether Lords was definitely not the fastest build here. But this one right here will clear everything and anything inside the Infernal Hordes. Whether you're doing the solo, whether you're in a group, you're going to be able to keep up with any other class because your Dust Devils are going to go all over the place. So this build right here is going to be in the description of this video as well. It is a ton of fun. You move at 200% movement speed, and you will kill everything. You drop earthquakes, they die. You don't even have to stand there. You can just keep on moving around, and those earthquakes will kill all the monsters as you go. Now, down at the bottom of the list here, we're going to have some special ones. These don't fall into any build path categories, but sometimes they're a really great choice. Something like the Chaos Waves. Chaos Waves are an absolute must. They have generally more ether than any other round, and you have a chance for goblins, which is what you saw at the very beginning of the video. Those goblins have a chance to grant you thousands of ether per wave, not just for the total run. These are going to be your chaos waves here. This is going to start a random chaos wave, which will grant bonus ether. Now you have a chance to get several different waves when you do these, but they are 100% worth it because no matter what you do, you're going to get more ether than any other wave in the game. They have to be taken. If you're going to be doing a 4-wave or a 6-wave, the 6-wave will always have just one chaos wave. Now, we got really lucky here because we actually got an Aether Fiend and an Aether Lord Chaos Wave, and we've been building into the Aether Lords, as you saw. This is why the Aether Lords currently are going to be the best option for you, because you have a chance to get a Chaos Wave with Aether Lords in it. So now you can go by, you can kill all the Aether Lords, and you gain all of those extra multipliers on top of everything that you just got. So it is actually a really, really great option for you to take. Now, what's fun about this is as you go further down into whatever tree you decide, whether it's masses, whether it's lords, whether it's soul spires or hellborns, you're going to unlock certain things as you unlock other ones before it. So now we have unlocked more here. We have your Aether Lords will no longer despawn at the end of the round. That means that the round can end. You can have a ton of Aether Lords up that you just haven't killed yet, and they won't go away. Currently, they will go away. So this is a really great option for you to pick if you're going down that tree. So we've gone down the tree, and now you're starting to stack into a specific one. Now, there are some very fun interactions that you can build in between the different branches. If you went with teaming masses, you will actually have a chance to spawn Aether Fiends. And if you have a chance to spawn Aether Fiends, you can pair that with Colossal Fiends, which we got, which will then also be spawning your Aether Lords. So there's a lot of different ways, because if you're having masses that are spawning these, and you get an option to have masses guaranteed to spawn at the start of the wave, like bursting masses here, you're now giving yourself more Aether Fiends, which could be Aether Lords eventually. So you're going to actually get to mix and match a whole bunch of these in a very fun way. But definitely going the route of your Aether Fiends and your Aether Lords will definitely be the best way in the long run because of the Chaos Waves interaction with it. Then you can go with your masses, which will help your Aether Fiends. Your Aether masses are your end-all be-all. They will help you with everything. They will spawn more Soul Spires. They will spawn more Hellborns. They will spawn more Aether Fiends. They are going to be your bridge to completing any of your paths that you're going to be taking. Now, are any of these good here on the bottom? The Aether Goblins, I haven't really had much success for them. I really wouldn't take them. The Stalking Devil can be pretty good at the very end. This actually got buffed with the patch. It's actually now 100 Aether. So that 100, if you have one wave left and you're already getting a lot, and your choices are kind of getting an extra 100 on top of that is actually quite a bit. So with this here, this can spawn multiple times during the run. So this might not be a bad choice. If we come down here at the very bottom here, I actually have several runs. Each one of them was over 1400. And I recorded all of the paths that we took to get all of those. Now, obviously, the one here that has the 2600, that was your Goblin Chaos Wave. That was the Gobblelabos. So that one is going to be, obviously, the best way to go. That's why you have to take the Chaos Waves, because the Goblins are so strong, and they're so much fun to do. They are everywhere. So this is going to be the runs if you want to check these out, too. So we basically built into Fiends almost every single time. We have Masses, we have Fiends here, and we have Masses. Now, I did test out some of the Goblins here. It just really, they don't spawn enough for it to be that valuable. Now, with the new patch, Hellborns did get a little bit of a buff, but it still is going to be lacking behind all of the rest of them. So, unfortunately, Hellborns went from the top to the bottom, but we did get some very fun interactions to go with that. Now, your Chaos Waves, as you go through, your 6-wave Infernal Horde keys will always have 1 Chaos Wave. Your 8 waves will also have 1. And your 10 waves will have 2. So if you're looking to maximize the amount of Aether that you get, 10 waves are what you want to do. Now, if you run out of keys, I have a really great tip for you. And before we talk about fighting Bartuc, if you bring up your social menu, and then you go to find a party here, you can actually search for the Infernal Hordes. You go to advanced search. We're going to look for any of these that you want, but you can actually select Infernal Hordes. You hit search. And then you can find a party. You can join up. You can actually find rotations. So if you have 1 key left, you can join up here. And then you can use that. Maybe the group will stick together. If not, you have a whole bunch of different ways in order to maximize the amount that you're going to get out of your character. Now, we've completed all of the waves. Now, I was talking during our last wave and during all of this here. But if we were lucky enough in a 6-wave to get 666 Aether, you can now fight Bartuc. This is the Bartuc fight right here. Bartuc drops a lot of materials. On top of that, it drops millions of gold, about 7,000 Obdicite, and as you can see, guaranteed greater ancestral gear and your chaos armor. This is a really great way to maximize anything that you want to do, getting gear, getting materials, and you get your scrolls of restoration. If you don't have enough to fight Bartuc, you can still do the council here for free, and that will give you a boss fight with 3 different bosses in it, and you'll still be able to open up the chests and still get materials and rewards. It just will not be as much as Bartuc, and you will not be able to get the guaranteed chaos armor. That's all I got for you for the Infernal Hordes Ultimate Guide. If you have a favorite strategy, make sure you hit the comments. Let everybody know what you do to maximize the most ether that you have. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you share it with your friends. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm live every night. I'd love it if you stopped by, said hi, theory crafted with me. Catch you on the clip side.